passing 20,000 for the first time is a milestone, I guess you could say, and if we were measuring our success by how many applications we got, that would be certainly something to make note of. And in reality, we're just trying to get the best candidates, and the number is not that important. The fact that the number has gone up some means that we're getting more good candidates, and we're a little surprised it went up actually, because this is a year where the population growth has stopped, and we anticipated the pool to remain about the same as it had in the past. There have been some interesting information coming out about other colleges. 5 of the 8 Ivy League schools, for example, had declines in applications this year, which is something that we had predicted was going to happen because of the demographics. So the fact that ours went up a little bit without any extra effort on our part to do it indicates, I guess, that Georgetown is becoming even more popular, and so I guess that's a good thing. We're anticipating, last year our overall admit rate was 18%. For early action this year it was just under 15%. We probably will begin with the idea of a yield somewhere between 16 and 17%. An admit rate rather, 16 or 17%. If that fills the class, that'll be the admit rate. Hopefully we will end up being below it somewhat, and we'll be able to fill in some places from the waiting list. So I think really what you have is just kind of an ongoing increase of Georgetown's position at the top. More and more top students are including us in their choices. If you could look at market share as an idea, more than 1 in 10 of all students above 700 on critical reading apply to us. That's an ever-increasing percentage of that very top pool. For example, we have a record percentage of public high school applicants this year, up to 64% from 61% last year. We have record applicant pools from students of color, African American students, Hispanic American students, and so you can, the number applying for financial aid is at an all-time high. So all of those are trends that you could forecast based on the changing environment. Now, if you are getting just a small piece of that environment pool, you might not see those changes, but since we're getting a very broad pool, we're actually able to see from year to year these shifts actually taking place as we had forecast they would. Lots of implications, not just for colleges, but for the country, as we see this population shift coming through the pipeline of schools out into the workforce. And it's going to be, I think, very interesting. Right, even now we're in, say, the presidential politics and elections, we're seeing the importance of demographic shifts and changes going on in terms of how people are going to have to compete to be elected to office. So we're really happy that Georgetown is able to be part of that trend, very much so, and that probably, as I said in the very beginning, is why our applicant pool continues to rise rather than reaching kind of a peak. So there isn't any one specific thing, but we do have plenty of students out there who try very hard to impress, and they'll send all kinds of interesting pieces of artwork or curious mementos, or last year we had a student who delivered a chair saying, "I'll bring my own chair if you admit me to my class." So people will try anything they can to catch attention, and honestly, those things aren't going to make any difference really. But I think people do want to try to make themselves stand out. The one thing that I will say that makes Georgetown a little special is we've resisted going 100% into the high-tech world, and so we don't do the common application, for example. So we are hoping to know our candidates personally. Your application will be read by a full-time member of the admissions staff, not some outside reader, and so we really are trying to get to know the people more than just the numbers of the students who are applying. So if students worry about trying to stand out, well, we are trying to identify people who stand out, but it'll come through the natural reading of their essays and the recommendations and the interview reports and so on.
Charles Deacon, the Dean of the Undergraduate Admissions, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.